Did that work?
Yes.
I did what my 3-year-old son 30 years ago did. Just push all the buttons.
I think you just have to make it full screen and then it should.
Of course, I can't see it. Okay, make it full screen. I don't know how to make it full screen here.
Jenny's first do a slideshow, at least then there's a bigger picture.
Yeah, the thing is, it doesn't show me the screen now. Oh, there it is. Nope, I can do it. I found it. All right, sorry. Okay?
Yeah, perfect.
Excellent. All right, this is a lovely thing to participate in. And I think I speak for a lot of people who in the last 50 years have worked on Bodh Gaya from a variety of perspectives. I'm an art historian, and there have been a number of people who have looked at the visual record so that we have a lot of information and a lot of images to look at. And in thinking about a center, what I wanted to emphasize today are these 2 points. The importance of uncertainty by acknowledging questions through emphasizing how the site and its remains have been studied, something we call in art history, historiography. When I'm thinking about education, simply telling people this is that, or this is what it is, does not empower them. Telling them how the questions shaped the answers or what is the nature of the evidence is what I've found most exciting in producing further information. So the importance of uncertainty, I hope, can be baked into a presentation, which is at the same time trying to put out in front of a variety of audiences the notion that the past is complicated. And we've had a wonderful introduction to this already by Max. The second point is to constructing the way to see its changing nature through documentation, not just of a specific past. And here's what Max was speaking about, but I'm also wanting to emphasize the ongoing nature of documentation, how that changes the questions that we ask so that those who look at the documentation can begin to get the glimmer of how knowledge is developed and as well the certain values of study. I, as an art historian, think that my texts are visual. Max does work with different kinds of text. All of this points to the fact that very often, especially since the time of Cunningham, history has been written as a kind of certainty, as opposed to a series of questions that we can never answer other than approximately. Bihar is a wonderful example because this is what you still see today. This is something, a view I took at a site that's otherwise not been studied. It's there remaining to be looked at, along with a number of other sites across Bihar that are still underground. I think we do no service to anyone if we freeze a particular view of the site of Bodh Gaya as well as Bihar. It's much more exciting to understand how much is lost when we look at what has remained. And I want to emphasize the importance of ongoing documentation. Abhishek here is very much nicely demonstrating the great role that persons of all kinds, scholars as well as individuals, have contributed to pulling together some sense of what still remains or how we may interpret it. This is something that has not been emphasized, I think, enough in historical or art historical practice. And it's one way in which audiences, a variety of perspectives, can begin to understand that knowledge is something we can all participate in terms of making. All right, those are my two real points. What I want to do is show you for 10 minutes or so, a few things I've encountered that I hope in the formation of materials for this center will be something to push against. And it's the rigidity of the visions, which today we have very much an ongoing, intense revival of worship at the site by both tourists and as well Buddhists. And we have to somehow find a way to let the past mix in a messy sense with the present. These are views of Bodh Gaya 20 years ago, much emptier than it is today. Nonetheless, what is emphasized is the today, whereas the history of Bodh Gaya is a complicated one from the 19th century. As Max has already pointed out, the temple, for many people when they visit, is the true 4th, 5th century temple it's supposed to be, when actually, as we can see from the photographs that survive, it's very much a reconstruction of the 19th century. Now, we can put photographs into a center that documents something of this messy or complicated past, but the fact is we do not have, apparently, surviving the records of the excavators. To put that front and center to demonstrate that we have lost a great deal in the reconstruction of the site would again be one of the ways in which to empower viewers to understand that what they're looking at is what has always happened at religious sites, continual sort of renewal. But it's also a way to emphasize that certain aspects of the site have been focused on more than the other. And because of Cunningham's foundational significance, we focus on
I think we couldn't hear you. Can you hear her? Anybody?
She has been muted. She has been muted.
Janice, you have to unmute yourself. Sorry.